Hello and welcome to the Commexis Cast Daily, all the news you need to know from our inbox to yours. Today is our 100th episode, so we're going to do what we always do on this show, which is talk about YouTube making mistakes.
Get your tinfoil hats ready.
Hello everyone, I'm Matthew McGroarty, the videographer and podcaster here at Commexis, and today I'm joined by the lead strategist at Commexis, Philip Brooks.
Good morning.
So today we're talking about YouTube making some mistakes. So YouTube's Kids app has been suggesting conspiracy videos to kids, and it's been doing more than just suggesting them, so we'll get to that in a second. So typically the YouTube's Kids app is meant to filter out some of the more questionable or adult, I suppose you could say, content from YouTube. So there are certain search terms that if you enter on the YouTube Kids app, just nothing will show. But unfortunately, that does not extend to certain conspiracy theory videos. So the app has suggested, this is according to James Cook on Business Insider, they did a little investigation into this. So the app suggested several videos from a prominent conspiracy theorist, David Icke. One suggested video was an hour-long lecture by Icke in which he claims that aliens built the pyramids, that the planet is run by reptile-human hybrids, that Freemasons engage in human sacrifice, that the assassination of President Kennedy was planned by the U.S. government, and that humans would evolve in 2012. So that was just one example. If you search UFO on YouTube Kids, you'll mostly find videos of toys or other fun small animation stuff like that. But one of the top videos is also of Icke and claimed to show a UFO shooting at a chemtrail. And if you search for moon landing, there were 3 videos included that claimed the moon landing was a hoax. And if you happen to watch these videos, the top recommended video on the homepage of YouTube Kids would be a conspiracy theory about aliens on the moon. As I mentioned earlier, they're not just finding these by typing in search results, they're also appearing on the sides during the suggested videos as well, which is quite the problem, I would say. So YouTube had a statement. The YouTube Kids app is home to a wide variety of content that includes enriching and entertaining videos for families. This content is screened using human-trained systems. That being said, no system is perfect, and sometimes we miss the mark. When we do, we take immediate action to block the videos or, as necessary, channels from appearing in the app. We will continue to work to improve the YouTube Kids app experience. So Business Insider contacted them about 25 videos, and it showed that those videos were both removed from the app, as was Icke's channel. However, they were still able to find other conspiracy videos on the app, doing some search and some suggested results. So I know last week we talked about Wikipedia being added to conspiracy theory videos on YouTube. I think while you can watch our show to hear my thoughts on that, I think it is quite funny to have learned this today, knowing that even if they add Wikipedia to these videos, it does not work if you can't read or if you're like 5 years old or something like that. Yeah. So what do you think?
As a parent of a toddler, I'm more than familiar with some of these kids-based YouTube channels. My daughter loves one in particular called Baby Bum, which is, just little computer animations of famous or old songs and things like fairy tales, that kind of stuff. And there was an article, I can't remember if we covered it on the podcast or not, but a few months ago there was an article. Yeah, we talked about this word salad of keywords automatically generating content that was finding its way into the kids' channels, and that was just, some of it was just creepy and weird, and just some of them were dirty takes on famous kids characters, things like that. If you're going to create a kids channel, this has to be absolutely policed by a human being on a regular basis. This is a lot more important than the main YouTube channel that, people who are credulous, you can blame somebody as an adult for not, for basically believing in this kind of stuff. The kids are, they're influenceable. They don't really understand the world. They don't know that this is preposterous or how crazy some of the stuff is. So, and kids already latch on to crazy things to begin with. My daughter thinks our house is full of sharks. So she has, she jumps from carpet to carpet in the living room because the hardwood floors are sharks. So,
Okay.
you know, so I can see her totally, you know, that there being lizards in the White House. So, you know, that's an issue, and I think that having worked in the video game industry and dealing with kids when I worked at Cartoon Network, you know, it's a different kind of system. You absolutely have to have human eyes on things, and you have to hold yourself to a higher standard when you're dealing with children. You just have to, you know, and this is a big miss. For me as a parent, you know, and I certainly never leave my kid unattended while watching this kind of stuff, but you know, if she's clicking stuff on the side of the page while the video is playing, you know, generally we only let her watch it for a few minutes a day, usually when she's getting her hair, you know, braided in the morning, or my wife's putting pigtails in or whatever, because it's the only way to get her to stay still while we're doing something like that. But it's not something that we do like at restaurants or anything like that, but I do see people doing that all the time. So, you know, it would definitely put a red flag for me that I'm making sure I'm seeing exactly what's being watched. And just because it says YouTube Kids doesn't mean that the content is going to be something that you would necessarily feel is appropriate for your children. So again, the onus comes back on you as a parent to make sure that you're watching everything that your kids are consuming. But remember that, you know, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard when it comes to kids.
Yeah, I think you bring up a lot of great points. The first I want to talk about is, you know, having oversight on your children, obviously. I mean, I know when I was younger, you know, I was the youngest of 3 kids, so it's not like my parents exactly had the time to watch everything that I was watching or whatever, either whether that be on the computer or on TV or what have you. But I think there's a good point you bring up, sort of. And things that I've read before. I'm a film and TV and radio major, graduate rather, but I was when I was in college. So one of the things we talked about was, you know, media diets for children, and to some extent for yourself as well. Though, you know, obviously as you get older, you're able to handle yourself better. And that is one of the things we mentioned was, you know, parents trying to take more more control over what their children are consuming, because things like this can happen. And, you know, most people, you would hope, would think that, you know, oh, it's for kids, you know, this is probably going to be okay. But obviously there's been a major misstep here. And back in November when we talked about the big
keyword
salad sort of thing, that was another huge issue as well. And then the other point I think you brought up is that about the keyword salad is that, you know, at the end of the day, there's always going to be people trying to you know, get this kind of content seen, whether it is by kids or by adults. So I think you bringing up the moderation by a person is really key.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as that. You know, this is not the same standard that you would hold yourself to for an adult, simply because adults are more discerning. They can look at this stuff and see. But, you know, for kids, they can't pick and choose what they find to be believable or not. And you know, obviously that's one of the things that make kids wonderful. They have great imaginations, and, you know, and there's a reason why that stops when you get to a certain age. And then when this stuff it goes from, oh, that's adorable, to, oh my God, this guy needs to be incarcerated for his own safety. So, you know, that's kind of where we are with it. It's just that, you know, this is, you know, you've got to do actual human moderation.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the miss the mark comment that YouTube said, they said they missed the mark, and I think that is perhaps an understatement to say the least, especially when you can still find this content on the app if you are looking for it, or even just doing keywords that aren't completely related to conspiracies, something like moon landing, which, I mean, it could just be somebody who's interested in science. Right. You know, it's not, moon and landing are not hard words for.
Well, I may have to explain to my daughter why her grandfather belongs to the Freemasons, and you know, and do they really kill and eat people? So I mean, it's, you know, these are the kinds of things that would make this a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to today's episode of the Commexis Cast Daily. Check us out tomorrow for more of the latest trending news. Have a great day.